Hi, I'm Cindy from bdancewear.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to take a pair of pants and put a little gusset in the side so it gives you a nice big flare. This works really well if you're trying to do a 70s dance, kind of a hippie feel. This is a perfect type of thing to do to your pants. So I'm going to go ahead and show you right now how to do that. Let's go ahead and start with, I'm going to use different color pants so that you can really see the color change in it. So the first thing you'll want to determine is how high up do you want that flare to start? How wide do you want it? I'm going to say in this particular one, we want to go almost up to the knee, below the knee. Definitely pin the pants on the girl. Make a little mark, have her put them on. Think about how wide you want that flare, how high up you want it to start. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these pants inside out. I'm going to make sure that I cut from the outside of it and outside seam. Now I've already determined I want it all the way up to the knee, and which I have that marked right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut open that edge. You can use, if you would like, a seam ripper, but I found if you just cut that seam out, since you're adding in such a large piece, a lot of times I will do that. And then once you get to the knee part, the part you're going to do, open up the seam a little bit more, giving you a few inches to sew with. Okay, so now that we have that, this piece that I cut off, I'm going to use as my guide. Let's grab some fabric. So I'm going to put this piece down here and fold it in half. This is how long I cut off the side, but we also all want to allow for hem. So I want it nice and wide. I've already determined that I want it to go about a hand width twice apart. So it's about 12 inches is the way when I put both my hands down like that. So I can either measure it or use my hand as a guide. And I'm going to start from the corner and cut up. This is folded in half, cut up into a triangle. Now then I'm going to take, remember we want room for the hem, so now I got to cut the hem off. I'm going to cut the hem so it's 1 inch. I'm cutting off the part of the fabric that I don't need. Now this piece that I've cut off, it's 1 inch from the bottom. I'm going to keep it at the top, hold it down, and move it around so that I get the right angle going all the way down. So this gives me, so you can see, it's not a straight bottom. If you cut straight, then the actual sides will be really long, or if you cut straight here and then cut straight across, where the center of this is will be too long. So now we've got a triangle piece, but the sides are up a little bit higher. So we're going to move all this. I'm going to slide the machine over, turn it on. Okay, now we're going to take our pant, and I am going to, it's opened a little past where we need it, so I'm going to start the pinning process down at the bottom. I'm going to make sure that if I pin it there, when I open it, are the right sides of the fabric next to each other. I don't want to turn the triangle inside out. So I am going to, let's straighten up this line here. I'm going to take this piece of fabric, I'm going to go past it 1 inch. Let's get our pins out. Put it in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue to pin it down. Remember, when you're working with Lycra, it's really slippery. So you want to make sure, if you're not comfortable with your sewing skills and don't work with it a lot, use lots of pins. Because it will get frustrating if it shifts and moves on you. So now, as you can see, there's where I took apart the seam, because I want that room to be able to have a little bit of play when I go to close it shut. Okay, so I'm going to start on that side. I have it on a zigzag stitch. Go nice and wide. And then we're going to back stitch. Remember, you need a seam allowance. So you go as small as you want, as big as you want, whatever you're comfortable with, but you're going to have to ease that up to whatever seam allowance was already in the pants. Okay. And then back stitch at the top and pull that out. Now we're going to take those pins out. Sometimes the fabric will gather a little from the sewing. If you see it, just slide your hand down in case the threads gathered it up a little bit, and then go to the other side. Cut off this little extra piece down here. Make sure you have the same seam allowance. You want to make sure also that at the top, it ends at the same spot. That's really important, because if one side stretches out more than the other and gets longer, then the whole thing is going to lay wonky. So once I've pinned the top and bottom, then I can pin the middle. If you see at this point that one piece seems longer than the other, stop, take a look, figure out what's going on. And then we're going to go ahead and reverse it. Sew it on this side. And then go up. Remember, I back stitched. And then go all the way up to the top. Let's pull these pins out. Now up here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to put some pins in it. If you want to taper in at the knee or anything, that's a good point to do that at right now. So I'm going to put it on a stretch stitch, because you want to be able that it still stretches. Make sure and fold any of this inside so you don't see it. And we're just basically sewing back up that side of the leg. And I like to go a little past where I sewed the right and left of the triangle in, because going past it a little bit keeps it from puckering out. It kind of holds it inside. So I don't know if you can see, but now I've sewn this seam straight down here, a little past where that white part is. Let's turn it inside out. Take a look at it before I finish. There we go, it opens nice and wide. You'll want to definitely steam it, make sure all the seams are nice and crisp. This is the point, before you put a hem on it, you take a look at it, make sure it fits the way you'd like it to. And then now, I'm going to go ahead and fold this over. Make sure that the hem matches up from one side to the other. You don't want where the pants ended to all of a sudden dip down or dip up. You want to make sure it's a nice, even flowing line, so it looks like it was actually originally sewn like that. And then I'm going to take this. And this is really important that you put a couple pins here to look at the hem. This is where you know if you need to make an adjustment up or down, if it's dipping funny or not. And then you hold it up. Now once that's actually pinned, I can see this spot right here needs to come down a little bit, and adjust the hem a little right here. There we go. And then let's go ahead and sew it down. I'm going to try and match up where the other hem line was. I'm going to sew it down. Some machines can sew over the needles, some cannot, so make sure if your machine is one that cannot, pull those needles out before you hit. And then back stitch on both sides. And then there you go. Now you have a nice little pleat in the side of your pant, giving you that 70s, 60s feel. So if you're looking for something like this, it's really that easy to do. Make sure and send me your pictures. I can't wait to see what you've done. Thank you for watching our video. And if you enjoyed it, make sure and click here to subscribe, because we're going to have some amazing DIY videos coming out. And if you want to get our free, complete dance costume DIY guide, click right here, or go to bdancewear.com/DIY guide. And lastly, if you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please leave it in the comments below. Thanks again for watching our video. And remember, be original, be colorful, bdancewear.com.